Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode here at Tribal Trades, the daily show coming at you from the great state of Florida. One hell of a drug. And I do want to welcome you to the channel wherever you are tuning in from around the world. Thanks for watching. Today, we're going to talk about, will this one thing cause Bitcoin to melt faces and go so much higher than most of the market expects? We're going to talk about that, and we're going to look at the charts and look at some other news that we have on the crypto front there. But of course, before we do, as always, if you're a regular watcher, smash those likes. This does help get this content out to more people. And of course, it does help support the channel. I do really appreciate all the kind words that people leave in the comments. And I do get back to the questions put there as soon as I am able to. And don't forget, I do get asked a lot, the cheat sheet, where is it? It is in the description of this video and every video that I put out. It's right at the top of the description. And of course, there is a lot of articles, links, resources, tools. There's buy orders, take profit levels, as well as, of course, the link to the Stocks with Josh Discord. So if you're not in the Discord, I'm in there daily, interacting with the most amazing community on the planet. There are links below there in the cheat sheet, as well as in the description of this video to help you get started on your crypto journey there. Okay, we're going to jump into some news. And first of all, I like this Bitcoin RSI. It just shows you how on track that we are here in the cycle there. If we look here, the Bitcoin monthly RSI a week before elections, you can see here that a week before the elections in 2012, 16, and 2020, and now 2024, it is exactly at the same spot or around the same spot at 65, 65, 65. And the relative strength index does measure buyer and seller exhaustion. And certainly there is a lot more room to the upside there for the buyers on the monthly RSI there. And certainly this could be a good buying opportunity before we begin to take off there. So I thought that was very, very interesting. And of course, what are we talking about that could cause Bitcoin to melt faces? I've touched on it a couple of times this week, but I don't know if people really realize how absolutely bullish this would be for Bitcoin and how much it would cause it to take off. But here we go. Microsoft CTO Kevin Scott. I don't know why I hadn't thought of it before. Captain Obvious. But Bitcoin is an incredibly powerful concept, and I don't think we've fully grasped what it could mean for society, even though Microsoft as a whole have come out saying they advise against adding Bitcoin to their balance sheet. They're going to put it to the vote. BlackRock, one of the biggest shareholders, is, of course, I think, going to vote yes and do the right thing by their shareholders. There's been some people that have come out and said, BlackRock will vote against it because they want to keep the price of Bitcoin cheaper for longer, give them more time to buy. I think everybody's had a good amount of time to buy Bitcoin. This has been one of the longer, or if not longest, consolidation, reaccumulation periods in Bitcoin's history. And certainly I think it would be odd if BlackRock voted against Microsoft buying. It would be very petty to think, we don't want Microsoft buying it because then we won't be able to buy more. And then also they would be kind of communicating, well, we don't want Bitcoin to pump right now. We want to keep the price suppressed. We don't want Microsoft. I think they're going to vote yes. I think they're going to vote for it. I think Larry Fink has been very, very bullish on Bitcoin and pushing the Bitcoin narrative there. And of course, if Microsoft buy, then I think it's only a matter of time before other companies buy. And this, I feel, could be the catalyst that could take Bitcoin a lot higher than my previous prediction, which was around 100 to 120 on the probably on the conservative side, and 150 to 170 on the upper side. But this certainly could take Bitcoin, I think, up into the 200,000, high 100,000s, 200, possibly even 300,000 there, because it could bring a good $5 trillion more into the space for Bitcoin. And this certainly is something that is reasonable and possible to happen. I'm not saying that it will happen or but it's something that certainly is possible. But certainly those higher, I do think if Microsoft and some of these other institutions do come in with buys, I certainly feel like I could possibly take my Bitcoin prediction of 100 to 120,000 up to maybe that 150 to 170,000 dollar level for Bitcoin. But we will see. What do you think in the comments will happen if Microsoft come out and say that they're buying Bitcoin? What do you think will happen in the comments if they start buying Bitcoin? And will other companies start buying Bitcoin? And then what happens to the price of Bitcoin there? Will you change what you think will be the price of Bitcoin, or will you just still stick with currently what you feel Bitcoin will get to? I think this one thing here with Microsoft jumping into the game, the fact they've even put it to the vote is very bullish and could lead other companies to, and could cause Bitcoin to melt faces in this bull run far beyond what we thought. And of course, this is not financial advice, because I'm not a financial advisor. This is for education and entertainment purposes only. Are you not entertained? Said the great Maximus Decimus Meridius from the movie Gladiator. Of course, before we were to get there, before we even get to that situation, certainly we have a sell order. There are sell orders up to 70,000 that we need to break through. 5,844 Bitcoin sell orders. What we just need is 5,844 buy orders there to just smash through that sell wall. It just seems like somebody or a group of people don't want Bitcoin busting through 70K just yet. Certainly, I think if this Microsoft news comes in, maybe that sell wall will be completely obliterated and we can see Bitcoin move up to a higher high there. Well, let's look at the Bitcoin charts here. And certainly, as we can see, the tribal trades trend line has been broken through again. Now, there was a CME gap created over the weekend. I'm pretty sure now that has been filled there. What are we up to between this price? I'm pretty sure now that's actually been filled. So if we look now at the price here, that looks like that's on its way to being filled or has been filled there. So CME gaps do tend to get filled, and quite often they tend to get filled fairly quickly here. This is quite a nice bullish move here, and I think that's come off the back of Microsoft there, and certainly on the stock show on Sunday yesterday, I did cover how Microsoft was in the buy zone, and it was in a buy zone a week ago, and I think the week before that I shared about that, and certainly that could end up being a very good call, because I do feel that if Microsoft does add Bitcoin to its balance sheet, it is going to push the price of Microsoft up very significantly there. I think a lot of investors are going to jump in after seeing what has happened to the price of MicroStrategy after adding Bitcoin to their balance sheet since 2020. They've been adding Bitcoin to their balance sheet for 4 years. But you can see here this line that I had put in here. When Bitcoin had a bit of a drop, I said the line to look out for was 66,500. And this has proved to be very, very accurate over the last 4 or 5, 6 days of trading, because this has held up very well. Now, if we come down and batter against it, I usually tend to find, 7 or 8 days of battering against it can see a breakdown. But we also have the EMA ribbons. This is the 200 to the 100 EMA ribbons, and that's now come up there to provide additional support. So 66,500 is a level that if you wanted to dollar cost average into some Bitcoin or trade a bit of a swing trade with a bit of a stop loss below, this could be the place that there could be an entry. The other thing as well is if we come down here, we have the golden cross. So the golden cross has now officially happened there for Bitcoin. You can see the 50-day moving average has come over the top of the 200 moving average, the simple moving averages, and now Bitcoin has an official golden cross. However, as I shared many weeks ago, even last month when I saw this golden cross coming, that this would be a lagging indicator, and which is why I said I was investing here and I was investing here. Now, I didn't go as heavy as I did down in these dips down here, but I certainly added to the bags here and here, because for the most part, I've done most of my buying, obviously much earlier in the bull run, and then sold off most, if not all, the profits up around these areas here, these dumps that happened up here. And then I was able to reaccumulate during the reaccumulation phase here. And then when you see this happen, because this is exactly what happened last time, and then Bitcoin began to take off, this is a lagging indicator here. So the golden cross is a lagging indicator. It kind of gives a story. It kind of confirms what's already taking place and what is about to continue. And so I did say before October 31st that I figured that we would break above this trend line here. And we've done so 1, 2, and this is the third time. Now, of course, we could come back down and retest the 66,500. We could certainly come down here to the 64,300 level and then down to this area. What I've found often happens when there is a golden cross is that Bitcoin price will actually retrace to the 50-day moving average, wherever that happens to be. So right now, if Bitcoin did that retracement now, that would come back to about 63,600. However, this 50-day moving average is moving up. While Bitcoin price is above it, it moves up. So by the time Bitcoin comes back to retest it, it could actually have moved up to here. It could be at 66,500, or it could be here. I'm just saying whenever Bitcoin does come and retest that 50-day moving average, that will tended to be a good buying opportunity as it comes back. It's like a magnet. It gets pulled back into that golden cross to retest it before going up higher. So I'll be watching that 50-day moving average. And certainly we have the 200 EMA that continues to move up at about 61,000, almost 61,200. And that would be another area of interest there if we wick down to there. So certainly if you're looking for more entries for Bitcoin or for altcoins, because certainly if Bitcoin does move down, the altcoins will get dragged down with them, the majority of them anyway. Then what we have is a situation where this would be where I'm looking for the initial buy at 66,500. And then secondary to that, I think we'd find a bit of support to around 64,400. But then right underneath that, about 63,700. This could be, by the end of today, this could be up here. The 50-day moving average could be at 64,300. So you just keep an eye on that 50-day moving average, and any kind of retracement into that generally has been a good load up zone historically before we begin to take off. And then, of course, if we're fortunate enough to get down here to 61,139, that would be, I would certainly be adding a little bit more there here as well. Of course, as we found, the low of the month, which right now is still sitting on October 10th, is 58,946. And if we close the month, which it looks like we're going to do, with that as the low of the month, historically in a halving year, Bitcoin has generally not gone below that low for the rest of the year. And so certainly in about 8 out of 13 years, this has also been the case. So it's heavily weighted in the historical odds. And Bitcoin tends to have followed this historical pattern. And of course, the last 2 halving years, the high for Bitcoin came in on the 29th and the 31st, and we're sitting at, what are we sitting at, about the 28th? So history is going to repeat. We may get another high in just the last few days, and we don't have far to go to get that, but certainly this news with Microsoft could be the catalyst to melt faces, and certainly I would quite enjoy the face melting experience of watching Bitcoin go to 80,000, 100,000, and maybe even as high, and blow my original prediction of 100 to 120,000 out of the water and push up to that 150 to $170,000 level, maybe even higher. All right. Well, of course, that's going to do it for today. As always, thank you for tuning in. And until the next episode, which is the Altcoin Show coming up in a couple of hours here, happy trading.